Coach, welcome. How do you define yourself as a coach? What does Karch Kiraly do different that makes his team better than the others?
I don't necessarily follow what other coaches do, but my real mission in life is to try to help the people that I work with and coach pursue their greatest potential as human beings and as volleyball players.
What do you think is your goal this summer as Team USA?
Our goal with Team USA is to try to win the next point. It won't be easy. There are so many great teams on Volleyball Nations League, and then after Nations League, there's the Olympic qualifier in September, and great teams across the net. So it will be very difficult, but we choose to do these difficult things. So we're excited about the possibilities.
Is there any particular team that you think will cause you the most problem this summer?
Whoever we play next is going to be the most problematic, the most challenging. So, like I said, there are so many good teams. It would be overwhelming to think about all of them at once, but it's much easier to think about just the next opponent, just the next play.
I'd like to ask you about your thoughts. What do you think about the current Turkish national team?
Turkish national team has been a really good team for many years, almost won the European title several times. I also think of Turkey as volleyball crazy and really supportive and passionate and knowledgeable about volleyball. So we love to come here and compete and have the crowd cheering for their team against us and against all their other opponents. But it's always more fun when you have a lot of energy, a big crowd. So this is one of the best places to have volleyball happen on the planet. And of course they have stars and they're getting better. It's always a really, really dangerous team.
And are there any particular Turkish players that you enjoy watching, that you follow?
Oh, I think a lot of them have been doing a great job over the years, but certainly I admire people who play at a high level for a long time. And so their middle, Ada, comes to mind as somebody who has been playing consistent volleyball year after year. And that's something that I've always admired is long-term, consistent, high level.
And I want to ask you about Mr. Giovanni Guidetti. You are close friends with him, I would say. What would you like to say about him as a person and as a coach?
Well, I know him, we are good friends. I know him as a husband and a father and as a coach. I also know him as one of the best coaches in the world, great success with Vakıfbank year after year after year. He's coached with Germany and Netherlands and with the Turkish team, and then now, of course, with Serbia. So he's always difficult. He and his teams are always difficult to compete with across the net, but we know while that challenges us, it makes us better.
As you know, there has been a change in the staff of Turkish national team. Mr. Giovanni left for Serbia and Daniela Santarelli joined Turkish team. How do you think this will impact the Turkish team? Do you think Daniela will be successful?
Another one of the world's great coaches in Coach Dani. All the success he had with Serbia last year, all the success that he's had with Imoko Corneliano. So I'm excited to see what he'll do in terms of working with the Turkish team. They had a great coach, Giovanni, and now they have another great coach, Daniele. So we'll see as the summer goes on. Obviously, the national team season is very early right now. It will take a number of matches to see for any coach to have an influence or an impact on the team. It'll become more obvious in July, August, and September.
The volleyball calendar is quite packed, and other coaches and some players have been vocal about this. What would you say about the heaviness of the schedule, considering both the club season and the national team season?
It is really difficult, especially on players more so than coaches, in terms of the amount of matches that they play, the amount of competition. Most high-level athletes in most sports don't play as much as volleyball players. I think it would be really important to build in more rest periods for the high-level players of all the national teams. We certainly try to help our American players by giving them extra time so that they might not be participating in Volleyball Nations League right away, and give a longer rest and break period before that. So we try to do what we can with our national team program, but it would be nice if the schedule can be adjusted. Both Giovanni and I sit on the FIVB Coaches Commission. There's also an FIVB Athletes Commission, and both groups are trying to work to help sculpt the calendar to try to make it better for the high-level athletes so they can be healthier, they can play more, have less injuries, and longer careers.
We know that you're following your athletes, Team USA athletes all around the world. Are there any other players in the world that you enjoy watching, that you like following?
I always enjoy, and also it's difficult to scout the next team and the players who are going to make our work very difficult. But I don't know if there's any one player. I just admire when people have put so much work into reaching a world-class level of performance.
I'd like to ask you about our league, the Turkish Sultans League. How would you rank it among other professional leagues, and what do you think about it in general?
Certainly the league here proved how good it is, how strong it is, by having both finalists in the Champions League final very recently, less than 2 weeks ago. So having basically an all Istanbul final shows the strength here. The very best teams are probably right now the very best club teams in the world. In April and May of 2023 seem to be the Turkish teams. There are also some very good Italian teams, and an Italian team won the World Club Championships in December. But those two leagues are always battling for who's the top.
Well, what about yourself? Did you consider coaching a club team before? Did you receive any official offers or something?
I have had some teams inquire or ask me about my availability. I think I might want to do that someday. Right now with the USA team, my job is actually a full-time job, even though our team is not together full-time. There's lots of things that we do inside the country, inside the United States, to promote volleyball and help build for the future. And I love my job. I can't imagine a better coaching job than the one I have with USA. But maybe someday I'll be done with USA and look at some club possibilities. I usually don't think of both fitting together. Other coaches like Daniele, like Giovanni, do that very well. They can do both club and national team. My focus is more national team only.
Coach, so next year in 2024, there will be a professional volleyball league in the United States. Do you think it can become the NBA of volleyball in the foreseeable future?
It's interesting. We have already had some professional volleyball for 2 seasons so far. It's called Athletes Unlimited, but that's more, I wouldn't call it a league as much as it is a tournament, a competition. Then early next year in 2024, there will be a group called PVF, Professional Volleyball Federation. Then another one in early 25 called League One Volleyball. So we'll see how it all happens. We're cheering them on. We want them to succeed. I do see it as a little difficult to have 2 leagues. It would be like having 2 professional leagues instead of one in the Turkish league or any other country. At some point, I think it'll be better if they could actually come together and make one and make it the strongest possible.
Like ABA and NBA
yeah,
in basketball.
That's a good analogy. And eventually they merged, and that might happen. I think it's not easy to have a sustainable and successful professional league. Lots of professional leagues have started, many have failed, but we would like to see this go on and on. I think they might have to think about working together more to make it biggest chance for sustainability and success.
You are considered as one of the best spikers of all time in men's volleyball. What skill do you think a spiker must have, and who do you think in women's game has a similar level of game like yours?
Well, in that spiker, other people might call it outside hitter, other people might call it position 4. It's a really important position because those players and setters touch the ball more than any other people on the court because they receive serve, they attack, they serve, they block, they defend a lot in zone 6, and so they have a huge impact. Because they do all these skills, I think it's really important to have more than just the skill of attacking, more than just the skill of serving. So I admire all around high level in that position. And you can find good examples of that on our USA team and on any of the other top teams in the world. That's it's like when a ship comes and stops and drops anchor. This is like an anchor for a team, somebody who can perform all those techniques, all those skills well. I think every great team must have somebody who can anchor their team.
What do you think about Team USA being a first-class outside hitter team? Like, you always have many good top-level outside hitters like Kelsey and others.
We are very fortunate to, I guess the word we would say is deep. We have a number of outside hitters, position 4s. You mentioned a couple, Kelsey, Jordan Larson over the course of time. Another person who played here with Vakifbank and Istanbul is Michelle Barchakli. But the list is a lot longer than that. And we're always trying to build that list and make it deep so that there's more competition in that position. But yes, we've been very fortunate to have people who are skilled at that. We also work really hard. It's not easy to be a good attacker and also a good receiver of serve. Very few people in the world do both of those at a very high level, and so that's where one big focus of our training is to help people be strong in both those skills.
That will be all from me. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you very much.